Would Miss Drake please report to the principal's office?
10 unanswered questions about... Yeah. Number 1. Is this film a product of future Casey? And...
Showdown.
Number 2. Does this explain the meta oddities? You guys were right. I've been sleeping on this one for a long time. Way too long. And I have a confession. This actually might have been the first time I ever watched this film. I'm not sure. I remember the bus scene. Anyway, thank you for the recommendation. This movie kicked some serious ass and climbed way up to my upper tier. Star-studded cast? Check. The fucking Terminator? Check. Meta-ness? Check. Kick-ass soundtrack? Check. Fun fact, Lane Staley's last vocal performances in this song. Another Brick in the Wall Part 2. Big Alice in Chains fan here, I had to say it. Alright, tangent over. Movie's dope, but you know the rules. This is not a movie review. Let's break it down. The most interesting part of this film to me is Casey's monologue about aliens.
And where do all these movies come from anyway? How do we know Spielberg, Lucas, they're simply preparing us for what's to come?
You know what, Casey? It's science fiction.
Everybody gets hung up on the science part. They're getting at us to the fiction. Look, all fiction is based on some truth, right? How do we know this writer didn't encounter aliens in his high school, which led him to write a book about an alien invasion?
I like the meta-ness of it. And I don't mean shared universes or references. I mean perspective. Casey suggests writers make stories based on real-life experiences they had in the past. That idea pops up everywhere in media. Stephen King is a prime example. 90% of Stephen King's content is about Maine. But what if the same logic applies to Casey himself? Let's break his story down. The Faculty is basically about a group of stereotypical high schoolers forced together, with Casey, the bullied nerd, becoming the one who has to face it head on. He has a crush on a popular girl. He notices the weird behavior first. Nobody believes him. Not even his parents. Everything escalates. He fights back. Ends up being the last one standing. Kills the alien queen. Saves the day. And gets the girl. That sounds less like a random sequence happening, rather than him remembering these sequences happening. But the most bizarre discoveries about this can be found in his room. Look at this shit. Alien statues. Weird preserved aliens or pest things. I don't know. Wrestling photos with alien heads edited on. Black and white alien photos. Whatever kind of picture this is. I don't know. This group of people turned into aliens. But the strangest pictures I could find on his wall are the Hornet football team pictures turned into aliens. Individual players too, but looks like the team captain. Which, later in the film, both scenarios happen. The Delilah pictures I get, I can't blame the man. But the alien football team? That's weird. Normally you would call this foreshadowing. This is more closer to premeditation. And keep in mind, this entire film takes place in the span of 3 days. Let's break down the timeline. Wednesday, Coach blows his load in anger. Uh-oh. The Principal Drake scene. Principal Drake and Mrs. Olsen get turned. Thursday, student character introductions, the Nurse Harper incident, and the other staff is converted. Friday night, full chaos, the football game, and the final boss fight. 3 days isn't enough to develop that kind of specific paranoia, considering his room takes place on day 2. So here's my question. Is Casey imagining aliens because he feels alienated? Or does he feel alienated because this is the perspective of him telling the story that already happened? If his monologue is true, his stories come from experience. And that means that this film is about his future self telling the past events. Fiction, which would explain the meta-ness and why his world already seems infected. He would then join the club with Spielberg, Stephen King, and all the rest of the people he mentioned. There's even a picture on his door of more aliens and him literally being alienated. It can't be coincidence that he is obsessed with aliens. And then all of this falls right into his lap. He's the one who finds the dried up parasite. He's the hero. It's just too on the nose. And I don't exactly know what these pictures mean, but they have to mean something underlying. It's not coincidence. Another strange fact about this is how versed he seems to be in aliens. He clearly has an obsession with them. However, he acts highly uneducated about the very thing he found, and seeks answers through everybody else.
Found something on the football field.
What is it?
I was hoping you could tell me.
Check the mesodermic follicles on its underbelly.
What does that mean? Yeah, but couldn't this kill it? Where did it get teeth?
It's just strange that he wears an alien tinfoil hat, but yeah, he knows nothing about aliens. Him and Zeke are the two most intellectual people of this film, but yeah, he doesn't know. You can also see on his computer he is actively working on photo editing, where he is turning people into aliens. Judging by these pictures, everyone he turns into an alien turns into an alien. You know what I mean? There has to be a secondary underlying layer about Casey in these pictures that we just don't know. And I think this is just retrospective of his perspective rather than this story being told in the present. But as always, what do you think? Let me know down below.
Just tweak it, let him fucking tweak!
Are Zeke's parents worldwide drug dealers? Hear me out on this. It's not uncommon for a suburban family to have a nice 2-story house in the neighborhood. But if you know this film, you know Zeke, drug dealer, bad boy, held back.
You could have made up your finals last summer. You didn't have to repeat your senior year.
His parents are dead to him.
Yeah, my mom and dad are dead too. They're still breathing, but for all intents and purposes, they're very much dead.
But he gets by scamming people any way he can.
It's Nev Campbell.
And Jennifer Love Hewitt, right?
Party of prettiness.
And they're naked?
Full frontal.
Does that look like me?
He gonna get that money. We get to see what kind of relationship Zeke has through the relationship he has with Mary Beth. If we just quickly compare houses, this is Casey's, this is Zeke's. Now for Zeke's parents not to be home for months at a time, not to care about his academic failures, they sure have some money considering the things they have. Zeke's badass Pontiac GTO, a 2-story house with pristine lawn care, and a side port, a pool, a boat, and another detached garage, aka the drug lab, that's the same size as a single-story house on that same block. And judging by what Mrs. Burke says, Zeke's mother is always on remote locations in other countries.
What are you gonna do? You gonna call my mother?
Do you even know where she is? Europe, Sri Lanka, Japan. I wonder what remote location she went to this week.
So Zeke's parents are always overseas, in off-grid or remote locations where they're always hard to reach. And their son has his own drug lab casually in their garage. And their son becomes a drug dealer, huh? Has guns laying around the drug lab. Zeke is highly intelligent despite his poor grades.
It's a pelagic organism.
What's pelagic?
Sea-dwelling organism. Could it be Nathostimulata? But they escaped detection till the mid-20th century.
You just know everything.
And Zeke seems to be self-taught in a lot of aspects. I don't think this drug lab is any different. I think Zeke picked this up from his parents.
Where's your mom and dad?
Europe, I think.
You seem to know an awful lot about this stuff. No offense, but you're not exactly known for your academic achievements.
In the same way we talked about Casey's room telling us a message about him, I think Zeke's drug lab and his garage and his surroundings tells us a message about Zeke as well. Not only the drug equipment, but there's also subtle hints on the wall, such as this retro poster on the wall, which was a bootleg Nirvana live compilation along with other artists about substance abuse and drugs in general. It even says the sins of our mother. I think it's safe to say we know the whole picture now. The context clues are there. Zeke is doing this because he is self-taught by watching his parents, who are big-time overseas drug dealers, making sure they are always hard to reach in remote locations. Zeke isn't the odd man out. He's just the next generation of what's going on inside that garage. Now this could be pharmaceuticals, this could be, hell, you can go fucking Pablo Escobar with this shit. Either way, I'm pretty sure Zeke's parents are rolling in dough because they're selling that. You feel me?
Look, why don't you and your pencil go home?
Always wanted to do that.
Is Principal Drake dead? Small one here, but what's unique about this film is that nobody ever dies except for the monster. That's a cool concept, and that's kind of hard to pull off in a horror movie. After killing the queen, the students and the staff all return to normal. We even see Professor Furlong in the end credits with an eye patch and a fingerless hand. But we never see Principal Drake at the end, and the only assumption is that she is still dead. They shot her in the head and dumped so much scat on her that it looked like her body had become acid. It is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. Believe it or not, I think Principal Drake was the most normal person in the faculty. She wasn't an abusive coach, an alcoholic teacher, or a staff member that ended up having a relationship with a student. And you can have that debate with yourself. Leave that out of my comments. I don't care to talk about that. Another tidbit about this, after the dust cleared, a month later, this was nationally covered, with headlines with magazines and news reporters. But the FBI found absolutely no evidence to prove this ever happened.
The FBI has indicated that no substantiating evidence has been found.
So I'm guessing they never found this big-ass alien's body? That bitch is huge. Principal Drake's dead body? If this chick can get her head cut off and put back on and she's fine afterwards, why can't the professor have his eye and fingers back? I don't know. I don't really understand the rule of thumb here. But nonetheless, Principal Drake is the only one left unaccounted for. So what was her fate? Let me know what you think. Number 6. Rapid fire round. Fuck up number 1.
Good luck in the game tomorrow, coach.
Hey, wait. That's Shooter McGavin's move.
Maybe I should just put a pen in my eye.
Oh yeah, Casey, that camera's real inconspicuous. That won't draw attention at all. Zeke's locker is mighty interesting, to say the least. Professor Furlong. Get it? Furlong, because this guy's Furlong, and this guy's Furlong, and this guy's the Terminator, and you know what? Just fuck it. Nah.
Hey there, Delilah.
What's it like in this fucked up high school?
This is bro, what the fuck?
Number 7. When did Delilah get infected? And Number 8. How exactly do these parasites work together? One of the best things about this film is the small attention to detail. So, let's talk about Delilah. A small note that I picked up on with Delilah is when she makes her wardrobe transformation, she wears glasses. Since these alien parasites need tons of water, it chose not to wear contacts, because contacts dry out your eyes. Ask me how I know. There's a lot more examples as well as the faculty changing their ways because they need water. Hence this teacher stopping alcohol and switching to water. Therefore, the sudden change in Delilah from contacts to glasses all but guarantees she has been snatched. But when? There's 3 possibilities I can see here. Number 1, when Casey and Delilah are cornered by the teachers and they both run out of the school, Casey later comes back with his family and the police to investigate what happened. And the police tells Casey they have already tried contacting her and she wasn't home.
You gotta call Delilah.
We called her. She isn't home.
So the police are already looking for Delilah. That's an issue considering police at this moment are now turned into alien parasites.
They got her.
Number 2, either the police or teachers went to her house just like they did Casey's and they got her. Which that scene is still weird to me because I don't know if Casey hallucinated that or not. If they was actually there, that means they can teleport. But you know, it is what it is. Number 3, the most probable answer is the classroom scene with Professor Furlong, when he gets his fingers chopped off and one of them briefly crawls on Delilah. This makes the most sense to me considering that Mary Beth was there with her, even drug her behind the table, but then again, she could have been taken over even before that. Everyone always changes when they get infected, so there's no telling when she got infected, because she was different the moment she showed up that morning. Next is how do the parasites work together? Is it a hive mind? I would think so because there's a very good example here. When Casey sees the coach is soaking up the sprinklers, just fucking chilling. He's just chilling there, boy. Since Miss Olsen is one of them, the coach is also a silent part of the meeting. He's just watching and listening from afar. Hence why he is looking directly at the room they are having said meeting in. Another example of this is when the teens go to Zeke's house in the drug lab. Before Delilah's reveal, a car pulls up and that is actually her getaway vehicle in case things go down. And of course it does. Another small blink and you miss the detail in this film is the hallway scene where the group walks past the already turned students after the classroom attack. The students all whisper their names except for Mary Beth. Hive mind, subtle details.
Get off the fucking field, you let that bogus!
Number 9. Who was Mary Beth? And 10. Is this ending actually the ending? There's a lot of questions when it comes to the alien queen. Did she find a host day 1? Or did it already have this disguise when it showed up on Earth? The second option really doesn't make sense though, because if it can replicate or clone a human by itself, there would be no need to infect the real humans in the first place. So who was Mary Beth? Was she really that southern chick down in Atlanta who lost her parents in an accident and moved to bumfuck Ohio to try and start over, but got infected before she could?
So after the accident, I came here to live with relatives. So I moved in with my cousins, and here I am.
The original host had to come from somewhere. The way the events play out in this film is kind of odd. Coach gets infected, Miss Olsen gets infected, Principal Drake gets infected, so that's 4 on day 1. But it's not until day 2 where Casey finds out dried up, hibernating shell of a parasite, where the film acts like that's what set off the chain events when they investigate it with Professor Furlong. As if that's what started the infection. I don't really know what this dried up parasite is all about. I mean, it's not really needed. The infection was going on strong, just fine without it. So what's the deal? Did the alien queen just lay another egg just in case as like a backup plan? I'm not really sure. The rule of thumb is the hardest thing to try to figure out about this film when it comes to the infection itself. For instance, the first time we ever see an on-screen infection We see it takes Coach some time to get it up. Get up! Yeah, man, get up! And spit in Nurse Harper's ear, which leaves a bloody mess. It takes some time. But in day 3 at the football game, you see Usher just be like, oh man, just stick this in your ear. You'll be alright. Welcome to the team. But that's neither here or there. My point being, if the rule of thumb is so unclear, I think the ending is as well. I know that hive minds in normal circumstances, the queen dies, they all die. But there are so many uncertain things about these parasite aliens that I can't be sure. A month after all the chaos seems normal, which would be October 6th, or maybe October 21st. Also, they found a spaceship? Everything seems back to normal. But as I mentioned before, it's awfully strange that the FBI found absolutely zero evidence to back up this alien invasion story. They found a spaceship? Like it never happened. The alien queen dried up, but she never disappeared. If a few could survive this, there's way too many possibilities for it to be over. For instance, maybe the teachers, the students, the faculty, they're all back to normal. But does that extend to the police department, the other parents, the rival football players? The list goes on and on and on. But my favorite backup plan for their survival is this. What if Professor Furlong actually sent them samples to the university?
The thing I found yesterday, where is it?
I sent it to the university.
Do they know what it is?
Seriously, what if they was telling the truth? And now those specimens are at the university and the cycle repeats again. And what if their goal is not to go back and attack Harrington High School, but to rather move on to bigger fish for now until it's their turn again somewhere down the line? The kids think they've won. Meanwhile, the university is fucked and it's happening again. So with all this being said, I think there's too much ammunition here to officially call it the end. But I can't decide your headcanon for you. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below. That's going to wrap this video up, guys. Thank you so much for taking part of your day to kick it with me. You know, I appreciate it. I'll see you next week in the next video. With that being said, if you have any theories about any movie whatsoever, drop it in the Discord. The Discord is free. It's just a hangout spot. You can come tell me about your day, how good it was, how bad it was. We talk about movies, music, life in general. And if you submit a theory that I really like and hold some weight, I will credit you in a video. I also have a YouTube membership where you get early access to all my videos. You get member-only videos, priority replied comments, loyalty badges, custom emojis. The list goes on and on. It's very beneficial for you and me. Plus, you'll be supporting me in this channel. But until next week, I'll see you in the next video. Once again, thank you for recommending this film. I had a good time. I love you all. Adios.